What up, YouTube? You already know. Big Lou tapping back in with what it do with Big Lou, NFZR2, baby. First time you coming to the channel, be highly appreciated. If you sub, like, to share the channel with your family, friends, folks, peoples, gente, buddies, pals, amigos, and panas. Feel free to comment. I respond back to all the comments, as you guys already know. This just in. Well, I found out last night. Wrestling legend, WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan family home in South Carolina was broken into by an individual in his 20s. And Hacksaw Jim Duggan is now 68 years old. He's a two-time. He recovered twice from cancer, colon cancer, I believe it was. And he said he was watching TV, and his wife was getting the bed ready for them to go to bed, and all of a sudden he heard he said they have glass doors. All of a sudden he heard a boom, and he said he went to the foyer. And he said before he opened the foyer and the guy came stumbling in, he tripped over the step and fell into the house. And Hacksaw grabbed him and threw him on the couch. And as his wife was watching the guy, he went and grabbed his 44 Magnum, the Dirty Harry version. And the original, when I heard the story last night being told, when I first heard about the story, the guy said that Hacksaw wrestled the gun away from the guy that broke in the house. Now, when I further researched it before making the video, I found out that no, that gun was, that 44 Magnum was Hacksaw Jim Duggan's family, his own personal gun, and he held the guy at gunpoint because he thought the guy was a diversion while other people were going to enter the home for a home invasion. So he called their local sheriff department, which is let me see if I can remember, if I can find the name real quick of the sheriff's department. Kershaw County Sheriff's Department in South Carolina. When they came and took the guy, into custody. And Hacksaw said that, the guy did break into our house. So this, I'll describe a little bit of where they live at. He says that we live way out in the country in South Carolina, probably 200 yards off the main road down a dirt road. It was totally dark. My wife was the only one who had Christmas lights on in the whole street. I'm watching TV. She's making the bed, and all of a sudden there's this huge pounding on our door. Duggan said Wednesday on Fox and Friends. First, we have glass doors. Our yard is all fenced in. It's 70 yards from the road. As I run to the foyer, the guy comes in but trips over our step and falls in. I switch on, ready to grab him, and he goes, no, help me. And I'm like, what? I grab him and I throw him onto the porch, and I'm thinking it's a home invasion and this guy's just a diversion. So as my wife is watching him, I grab my gun. It just happened to be a 44 Magnum, the old Dirty Harry gun, which is pretty intimidating weapon. Duggan said, I had that in my hand waiting for someone else to rush into the house as a home invasion. And then Duggan again thanked the sheriff's department and fans in his tweet on Saturday. Thanks to everyone for the concern and well wishes, Duggan tweeted. And so a little bit of background about Duggan. In August, Duggan celebrated the completion of his 39th and final radiation treatment for prostate cancer by ringing a bell with nurses at hospital personnel at the cancer center at South Carolina Oncology Associates in Columbia, cheering him on, according to Bleacher Report. Duggan, who first announced that he had prostate cancer in an Instagram post in October of 2021, said he was cancer-free 2 months later. However, in May of 2022, he said the cancer had returned. That led to radiation treatments 5 days a week for 8 weeks. Duggan was a fixture in WWF from 1987 to 1993 during the promotion Golden Years, right? Golden Era. The Glen Falls, New York resident native taunts himself as a legendary professional wrestler and a true American patriot on his website. His trademark "ho" catchphrase and hard-hitting style, Duggan was a fan favorite among pro wrestling fans. After leaving WWF, Duggan competed in WCW from 1994 to 2001, and then he returned to WWE for a 4-year run beginning in 2005. And he was inducted into the WWF Hall of Fame in 2011. And I remember Duggan in the Mid South in the magazines. I used to get the magazines as a kid. My dad used to get it, the pro wrestling magazine, and that's how I knew about UWF, which was originally Mid South, which Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Hacksaw Butch Reed were both there, and they used to they had heat for the name Hacksaw, and the Magnum TA also was there. Big Junkyard Dog was a huge star there in Mid South. Um, if you guys don't know, Mid South was ran by Bill Watts, Cowboy Bill Watts, and it was Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, and some of Mississippi. That was considered the Mid South territory. Bill Watts, and later he changed the name to UWF, Universal Wrestling Federation, I believe, to compete with WWF at the time, because Mid South was kind of being stagnant. You know, it was just those four states. You know, so then you put the UWF, Universal. Universal means everywhere, pretty much, right? So it gained a little more traction. But nonetheless, I used to read up on those guys in the magazine, and I used to see Hacksaw Jim Duggan in there a lot. So this is like 85, 86-ish. And then I remember him coming to the WWF, being a big star, even though he never had a title. He never had a title run in WWF. He did win the inaugural King of the Ring or whatever it was called. He was the first anointed king, where he got the crown in WWF. Later, Harley Race won it. Haku won it. Macho Man Randy Savage won it. Those are some of the first 4 or 5 that I remember that actually won it. Now it's, they got a ton of guys that won it later, but I wasn't into the wrestling anymore after that. But anyways, nonetheless, Jim Duggan is now 68 years old, and he had 2 battles with cancer. He's an older man now, so he's not that big dude he was back in the day. 6'6", 6'5", 6'6" guy, 300-pound dude. Now he's probably about 6'3", 6'4", because you shrink a little bit, right, when you get older. And he only weighs probably about 200 pounds now, 220 maybe. You know what I mean? But nonetheless, he's still pushing. He still attends the autograph sessions and legendary wrestling events and stuff like that. But it's just good to hear that, nothing happened to him and his wife in this little ordeal. That being said, Big Lou's tapping on out. Just a little bit of news, people. Pro wrestling. I'm out.